Welcome everybody to another Meet the Artist series. I'm Tycoon Percussion artist and U.S. Arts Relations and consultant Adam Riviere. And today, for the special Turkey Day edition, I'm welcoming our good friend, artist, musician, Christian Vélez. Christian, how are you doing, my friend? You excited for the holiday this week?
Yes, I am. I'm doing great. I'm doing really good. Very exciting. Very excited to eat. Ready
I,
to eat tomorrow.
I was like, you got any specific plans? Are you gonna be staying at home? I know the way things have been going, everybody's like, okay, you can
Mhm,
only hang out with, just you and a significant other. You can't have family.
mhm.
What's your plans for the holiday, man?
My plans are to stay home. My family, my wife, my son, and just relax, eat good food, eat Puerto Rican food, and just watch movies and just chill. Pretty much that's all we're doing,
No,
and
dig it.
just enjoy. Yeah.
Okay, so it was like you already brought up food, and I'm trying to remember. Uh, I think my friend or the artist, I don't know. Do you know Jamil Conga?
Yes.
Okay, because I want to say he brought up like I asked him about like what's it like a traditional dish from like Puerto Rican. I think it's called like mofongo. Does that sound right?
Mofongo, yes, mofongo, yes.
Which that sounds awesome. So, and I told him it's like when we actually finally get to connect and meet each other, like point out to where I need to go. So, because he's down in Nashville and he says, I think he says there is a place like around, there that he can take me to.
hmm
So for you, he's like, good places where you're at for some good mofongo?
Here we do. There's a lot of like food trucks here. There's a lot
Nice.
of Puerto Ricans here, where I live here, in
Oh,
Rayford, North Carolina. So
yeah. I was
so
gonna say,
there's
yeah,
there's
point out where you're
yeah
from so people know where to
yeah
find it.
Rayford, here in Rayford, North Carolina. Uh, Pretty much we're next to Fayetteville, where the army, the Fort Bragg Army base is at.
Nice.
So, but there's a lot of Puerto Ricans here. So there's a lot of Puerto Rican restaurants, and food trucks, and so they pretty much have, they make authentic Puerto Rican food like mofongo and 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 it's called capuria, all that. You can find it pretty much. So
Okay.
it feels like, you feel like you back at home, with the flag and all that. So it feels good with the music. So
Nice.
it feels, yeah, you feel like you at home pretty
Oh,
much.
that's so awesome. That's just like, yeah, it's like that culture is just like, yeah, it's like, your culture in specific is like I said, makes you feel like home. And it's like, and nothing makes you feel more
Yes.
like home than some food, right? And
Oh,
nothing's,
yes.
I mean, nothing better than food and music. That's all you need, right?
Yes.
And
That's
family.
all you need. And play dominoes. That's a really big in Puerto Rico. Playing dominoes on the side where you're listening to music, to salsa music and all that.
See, I'm from Indiana, so
Yeah.
it's all about card games. We play euchre. So I'll teach you how to play euchre. You can teach me how to play dominoes, man, when we
Yes.
get the chance
Yes.
to get together. So you have to show me all.
Definitely.
I've seen dominoes played, but I've never had the chance to actually do it. So right away, you gotta show me all the fun tricks so I don't
Oh,
completely
definitely.
get whooped when I play somebody. So I appreciate that. So
Yes.
so the best place to start is always the beginning. So share with me just on, your upbringing, like when you were growing up, how did you get exposed to music? And then what made you lead or just lean rather towards and like doing, just percussion?
Well, this come back. It comes back from my dad. Lived in New York. I was born, but when he lived in New York, he was into music. He lived in the era where was the Palladium days. So he would go see Tito Puente, Machito, Tito Rodriguez, Eddie Palmieri. So in the
Yeah,
house there
yeah.
was always music. So him, pretty much my dad, and my mom, they'll go to dance at the famous Palladium, and watch all these big bands, Barreto, and pretty much there was always music in my house. Always music, always. And pretty much my dad, he played congas a little bit, but he was more of, when it comes to music, he knew more. Like he was at a encyclopedia, when it comes to music. So it was always music in my house. And then my older brother, he started getting into playing music when he was a teenager. So I wasn't born yet. He was playing. He taught a little bit my brother how to play. So my brother started playing congas, and then later on, pretty much when I was like around 16, 17, I wasn't really, even as a kid, I wasn't really into too much the salsa music and all that, because I was more into the era of rap music, that time,
Yeah.
what was coming up. But I kept hearing, Hector Lavoe, El Gran Combo, hearing all this music, and it's not that I didn't like it. I was just, because I was a kid, I wasn't really into it too much. So, and then when I became like 17 years old, my brother got me into pretty much teaching me how to play congas, and that's how I
Nice.
really got into really more. The more I started growing up, I started to like more of the music. So when it came to rap music and all that, you could tell I was starting to that started to fade away more. I
Mm.
started getting into more of the music that my dad was playing so much. So I got into the congas. Really, that was the first instrument that I learned from my brother being my teacher, my mentor. So when I moved from Puerto Rico to Cincinnati, Ohio, very close to you right there,
Yeah, man.
uh, he started teaching me. He started teaching me congas at the age of 16, 17 years old. Um, and I started to like it. It's something,
Hmm.
that I got into. Uh, that I was like, man, I think I really want to do this. I like it. It's fun, at that time. It's really fun. And that's how it started with the congas, pretty much. And
Nice.
then, yes, so that's pretty much it. That's how I started with the congas.
Okay, cool. So tell us, who are some like so when your brother was like teaching you, so it seems like, you've got a lot of love and respect for him. So he taught you, like, gave you that solid foundation. Did you get the chance to work with anybody else to improve your Congo skills, or was that something, as you traveled or gig, you just kind of just ran into other musicians? Is there anybody else that you want to give some love or recognition to, on just who helped you just develop, even with congas, and even as you travel, like to know, we can see those
Hmm.
beautiful purple timbales right behind you. So it's like, what was like,
Yes, right there.
the growth, just like, going from congas and, increasing your experience and your skill, and then going to the other instruments. So, like, always everybody's likes to know is like, not only just like how'd you get started, but but who helped you out, and for myself, and I feel like educators never give enough, instructors never get enough love, in this world. So is there anybody, like, even if you just listen to records or something, who is it that got you, where, pretty much where you are today? And then also, talk about the other instruments that you play, and who introduced those to you to get into them.
Yes. So when my brother was teaching me your basic tumbao, let's say we were listening to records, and that time, you didn't have no YouTube. The internet wasn't really
Yeah.
nothing big, so we had to either go see someone live, and you watch that percussionist, you stand in the front, you watch him, or we listen to, like you say, vinyl or cassettes. So that's how he taught me yesterday. So he put like the old school, especially like old school like salsa, because you could hear more the percussion up front, compare nothing against the recordings nowadays,
Yeah.
but back then you can hear more the congas. If you listen to like Mongo Santa Maria, those are the ones,
Nice.
besides my brother teaching me, but I listen a lot to Mongo Santa Maria. He's one of my idols. Mongo Santa Maria, Ray Barreto. We listen to a lot of Ray Barreto, especially with Mongo Santa Maria and those Cow Jader recordings that you can really hear
Mm.
the conga up front. My brother was like, you know what? This is a good way so you can learn listening to Mongo Santa Maria, because you can really hear the tumbao up front. You can really hear it.
Mm.
So that's the way I used to, in the house, put the headphones on, or no, and just start, learning how to play it. The things you can't see the hand moving. My brother was teaching me how to set the hymn, but I hear, okay, that's how it sounds, the two opens and the slap. So I used to practice, listening to Momo Santa Maria, Ribereto. Those are my idols when it comes to congas. Um, and there's a few conga player, Eddie Montalvo,
Yeah.
another one that played with Ruben Blades. Um, well, there's a few, but those are the most I listen to on when it comes to conga players, like Ribereto, Momo Santa Maria were the ones that I listened to the most. And then my second instrument I started to learn was the bongo.
Okay.
My brother taught me el bongo, uh, and so that was very different from the conga. Of course, it's very different because you got your tumbao and then you got a martillo on the
Yeah.
bongo. So that was something exciting, to learn. So and then he taught me that, and I was listening from bongo players. I was learning from like Johnny Dandy Rodriguez was another one that my idol, one of my idols, that I learned how to play bongo. Um,
Sweet.
Let me see who else. Choki Lopez.
Okay. Yeah.
He just rest in peace. He just passed away.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. I listened to him a lot. Records of him. Tony Fuentes. He's like a uncle to me and my brother. He played with Ray Barreto. He was actually the
Okay.
the first the first bongocero, Ray Barreto, and then when he left, Johnny Dandy Rodriguez came in. But he's recorded Tony Fuentes recorded with Boy Valentin, Ray Barreto. He's played with Willie Rosario and so on. So I listened to him also as well, bongo playing. And there's a few, yeah. There's a few that I learned listening to, again, listening vinyl or cassettes. And like
As
I said, no, there was no YouTube, so I had to learn somehow, or going, like I said, going to concert and just watch, you know, watch up front, watch where they had the hand movements, what they were doing and all that.
yeah, and that's like a lot of us as to where like I'm a Gen Xer, so yeah. So when it came to learning, all the world music and percussion, it was mainly seeing it or hearing it on the streets or going to a concert or buying,
Hmm.
at most like a VHS tape. It's like, I'm old enough. I listen to 8 tracks too, man. So,
Yes.
so like that. And then,
I remember
yeah.
though, my dad used to have an 8 track. It was like from here to here. That thing was heavy.
And you had to hope
Eight
to
track.
God the whole album was good because you couldn't rewind or skip. You just had to let it play. And
Yes.
and unfortunately, my dad had so he would listen to a lot of at the time, as a kid, it was all the Broadway tunes, in which I was really not in the mood for when you're just stuck in a car for an hour and you're listening to Barbra Streisand. Just like didn't really do it. But thank God he also raised me on some really great like big band jazz and listened to a lot of Stan Kenton, like Cuban Fire, because that was my
Nice.
introduction to like Latin
Nice.
music. But okay, so we got the congos and the bongos, timbales. How did you get into timbales? Or do they?
Timbales
I
that
mean, they
came
look pretty, but how'd you get into them?
Timbales came later on, and that Timbales I learned actually the I learned by myself. That was me.
Nice.
Um, Pretty much like I said, my brother he plays conga and bongos. Timbales he could defend himself, but I pretty much Timbales was something that I wanted to learn. You know, I said, well, you know what? I already know congas, bongos. I want to learn timbales. Something that I took initiative. I wanted to learn. So I had these timbales. Wow, it was like I don't even know. It wasn't a big brand
Hmm.
timbales, but at least I go home and like I say, at home I started just learning the cascara. Just that's how I
Hmm.
started learning. Just even though when I was playing in bands, you see the timbal player what he was doing, but me actually, having a pair of timbales and be like, okay, how they play that cascara, how you do that, or the mambo belt, just learn the basic. Just learn the basics. So I was just listening. The one that I learned listening to was Orestes Milato.
Hmm.
He played with Ray Barreto. That's the one that I listened to. I listened to like Tito Puente, but that was
Yeah.
like that's a whole different level of
Yeah.
But the style that I was looking for um, was that Oreste Milato style. Again, you listen to Ray Barreto's records and you can really hear the timbal up front. So it was good. it was good to learn. Listening to Willie Bobo too, when he was playing
Okay.
timbales, when he played with those Caldeira, Willie Bobo was another one. Nicky Marrero,
Nice.
and there's a few that I learned. But just listening again, listening to the going back to the vinyl cassettes that my brother had, just trying to see how is he playing that, because you can't see them, but you can just be okay. The cascara go this way, and then the you got the abanico, and then going to straight to the mambo bell. And then I started, just keep practicing. I say practice makes perfect, so I just keep playing timbales. But I learned pretty much timbales by myself, pretty much.
No, that's awesome. Just like, but yeah, but you're taking, your experience, like a lot of musicians, especially that in the Tycoon roster, are just either didn't have like too much of like either like formal education. It was mainly either A, seeing somebody doing it and just trying to replicate that at
Hmm.
home and develop and or yeah. And so that's
Hmm.
really cool that you got yourself. I mean, you've got a really solid, foundation on just playing and you got rhythm, obviously. Um, so it's like while you're growing up, it's like were you involved like either with like schools, bands, or groups? Is like like with music, like did you get involved with anything? Did you have a garage band? Just doing some like garage salsa bands. Like what all did you was like when you were growing up? What were some of your experiences on just for your development when you're putting yourself out there? How did that start?
And really, I didn't go to school for music. I don't have, this is I just learned, this is just learning how to say in the streets, like learning, in your house and all that. It was just
Mm-hmm.
something that I learned, but I didn't, like I said, I didn't go to school for it, and I didn't have no band, nothing. I just started learning, and then uh, and then when I started learning, when I learned the congas and the bongos, that's when I started getting called, along with my brother. I started getting called for gigs. They knew I was playing, but like I said, I didn't go to school for music or anything. It's something that I just learned in my house, practicing. I get off work or something like that, and just practice, 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 and because I wanted to get better for myself. I wanted to not be better than anyone. I just want to be better myself, and just keep practicing. But I didn't go to school for music or anything like that. And like I said, from there, I just got calls to do. When I played with my first band, it was exciting. When I got to first play with my first band, and I actually, even though I started playing congas, um, my first gig was on bongos. My
Okay.
first gig was on bongos, so it was interesting. Even though I wanted to be my first gig in conga, but I was okay because that's was a good thing always to learn all three instruments. You get more work, and it makes you grow more, as a musician. But again, I didn't go to school for music. It's something that I just learned, uh, at home.
Yeah, but again, but that's awesome. That showed your dedication towards music and the craft of, especially specifically Latin percussion, get you where you are. So that's really awesome. So
Hmm.
going even deeper into your gigging world, this is a part I ask every artist. I
Hmm.
like to know what was your best gig, and that getting that could be aimed for. It doesn't have to be just like man's like I played for 5 minutes and got paid $5,000. What was something that like a great memory, like your a good or your best gig, if you can remember your
Hmm.
worst one, and maybe even one that might have been, did that just happen kind of gig, something that was just out there strange, walking away, and maybe even today you're still scratching your head of. It's like, did that really happen?
My best gig, wow. There's so many of them. To me, I'll say, when I played with the great Larry Harlow. That was my best. I mean, there's other gigs too, but I think to me, and I played congas for in that gig. But he came to town. He came to Cincinnati, Ohio. He came. It was him and Yomotoro was a famous cuatro player. They also playing the cuatro as a
Yeah.
Puerto Rican instrument. And he played. He came along with Larry Harlow. Actually, it was Larry Harlow's band, but he brought two great percussionists of his. So I remember I was that gig. I was nervous though, because being with them, and it's like I know what I could bring, but talking about them two, I'm like, wow, I was nervous. But to me, that was my favorite uh my favorite moment was to play with the great Larry Harlow that played with the Fania, and the stuff that he's done. To me, that was really really good, and him being very happy at the end with the work I did, and telling me, you're talented, continue doing what you're doing, you're going the right way. To me, that was good. That was good to hear that from him. And
Nice.
my worst gig, uh I'll say, hmm, there's so many of them, but I guess maybe like playing bongos, maybe dropping the stick or something that happened like that, or the bell, that you kind of you get embarrassed because people are,
Yeah.
are dancing too, but there's someone watching you. But I'd say maybe dropping something that to me I'll get embarrassed, like, oops, did I just did that? Oh, you know, to me,
So
I
you've
think
had,
I'll say that, like dropping something, like the cowbell, the cowbell stick or something like that. And I think I almost fell on the chair too when I was getting, being a bongo player. You know how you
yeah,
stand up
yeah.
to play the cowbell, and then you're gonna sit down. You're like, whoa. I think it happened. I think that happened. I'm not sure, but I know, like dropping the cowbell, stuff like that. The cowbell stick. I think to me that's not the worst, but I think it's more embarrassing moment to me. I said,
Well,
I
I
hope
mean,
nobody was recording.
luckily that's one, if that's one of your worst instances, like like some of the other artists have talked about just having nightmare gigs of all the stuff they had to do just to get to the stage, or just something that
Oh yeah,
either a,
that's
you finally do the gig, you leave and you don't get
yes,
paid, or and like there was no PA, and like everything promised wasn't there. So if that's all you had to deal
yeah.
with, of just dropping a cowbell, or maybe missing your seat when you sat back down,
No,
I
now that you're saying, I think that's a no. Yeah, that was one of them too. When you do, especially now that you made me think. Now, when you do like these festivals,
yeah,
and then it's like it's hard. If you're playing big instrument like conga timbales,
yeah.
and then the parking is crazy, and you're like, man, the gig. I feel like I'm taking 30 minutes to look for to get to the stage, and the GPS is telling you to go somewhere else. Yeah, I think that's one of them too. And you kind of like getting frustrated because you're like, man, I gotta set up still timbales, and I'm here trying to find where is behind the stage so I could get close to it, and I don't know where I'm at. You start calling the band leader. Okay, I am lost. I am. Where do we? The GPS telling me to go this way, but I don't know where I could go. You said go behind the stage, and I don't know where to go. And I'm like, we need to be setting up pretty soon. So I think, yeah, that's one of the ones that
Oh,
that
and
kind
you,
of like,
and I think you got a special. Someone's like, yep, and she's already telling me. She was just like, Carmencita, who's watching this,
yes, my wife.
ask him. She goes, yep, ask him about Rabbit Hash, Kentucky.
Oh wow, yes,
That's why we got to
yes.
thank we
Thank
got
you,
to
babe.
thank our significant others that remind
Yes,
us of our
yes,
interesting or embarrassing moments. So
yes,
I'm glad. Thank you so much, Carmencita, for watching
yes,
this.
yes. Thank you, babe.
I'm excited to hear this.
Yeah, Rabbit Hash, Kentucky. That is pretty much like that's like in the Goonies when you're looking for it. It's like it's country, but we were concerned with there's one of the bands that my wife sings, and this group
Awesome.
we she's a singer, and I play bongos and with this group, one of the groups there. And the first time when they tell us, yeah, we have a gig at Rabbit Hash, like Rabbit Hash, okay. So to get there, is in the Goonies. You have to. It takes forever to get there. There's a lot of mountains, curves, and all that. So when we get there, we were concerned We set up, and we were concerned because we were like, wow, this is like country people. I hope we don't get, killed here or something, playing Latin music. We hope we don't get, we were concerned. We were very concerned about that. We were like, oh man, I hope they don't do, something to us. My wife singing in Spanish or nothing. I was really concerned. But as soon as we started to play for them, it was like incredible. You see them, they were watching us, but and some of the people they dancing, they're not part of them doing the salsa move, but you know what? They were having fun. And I started to feel I'm playing bongos and I started to feel like we feel safe, but they are the humble, very coolest people ever. It's incredible. And then they had this little kind of like a grocery store that
Hmm.
has been around for like since for 100 years.
Okay.
Yes, and there they have the governor there
Eh,
is a dog,
Yeah, she
or the
just
mayor,
mentioned
the
that.
mayor,
Yeah,
the mayor. I'm
yeah.
sorry,
She
the
goes, the
mayor.
mayor is a
The mayor
dog.
is a dog, not the governor. The mayor is a dog. When we
Okay.
first heard that, when they were telling me, we were like, a dog? Okay. So how does he make decisions? I was like, okay, we just come here to play music. I'm not gonna ask no more questions. But from there, they started calling for over the years. We played there about 3 or 4 times. So we were pretty much known there. Their calls, they loved the group. They kept calling us. So the first gig we did there, it was pretty much outdoor.
Hmm.
It was outdoor. Like I said, the stage was like this kind of like a flat. What is it, like one of these flat trailers? With the wheels.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
One of these. Yeah. So and then the third gig, we were playing more indoor because it was winter. We were playing in that grocery store that's been around for years and years. And so they started to know us, and they loved us so much that they kept calling us, and we were just like a family already. We already knew them, they already knew us. And they say, oh, great to have you guys again. You guys always good. And they're there to watch, and that's what I love. They watch and they clap. You do a solo and they clapping, and it doesn't matter how you play, but they for them, for their ears, you sound great. And they love us there. And that Rabbit Hash, that's another one that's, I have to say, in the beginning I say it was a scary gig, but that's one of the, well, along with the Larry Harlow, that's one of my favorite gigs too. That I wish they call us again in the future. That'd be nice to play there again.
No, that's yeah. And Carmencita, she also mentioned you played next to the furnace.
Yes, that was, oh man, talking about sweating. Talking about, yeah, the furnace. Yeah, it was like, wow, they really, old school, really, the way it is interested, the way they still have stuff there, looking the way it is back then is very interesting, very interesting. Rabbit Hash is a very nice place. And then you right next to the store is right next to Ohio River too, right there. So but that's one of another favorite gig. I have to say, Rabbit Hash. I forgot about Rabbit Hash. Yeah, thanks, baby.
Oh, that's no, but that's a great experience. I gotta ask my lady. My lady's from Kentucky, so I gotta ask her about
Yes,
Rabbit
Rabbit
Hash and
Hash.
see
Yeah,
where that is.
there's a lot of history there. Like I said, with the grocery store, I know they just something happened. I know, like, the store got, it was a fire on the
Oh,
store, and I think they did another store, but I know the store has been around for, and the whole, everybody in Rabbit Hash, that's the only store they shop at. That's the only little grocery store they go. So it's like everybody there is incredible because everybody there knows everybody there. It's like they're all a family. But they're beautiful people. I have to say, beautiful people. Like I said,
so
after we did all those gigs, we were like, okay, we know we're safe because they, even though they don't understand what we're saying, but they love the group so much. It's
so
incredible.
so when were these gigs? Were they like past few years? Pretty recently when you did Rabbit Hash. When did you start playing there?
We did this. Maybe my wife can help me. It was like, I say about
Okay, Carmencita, you had to help. You got to
10,
help your man in his memory.
yes. Yeah. You get to an age, you start forgetting stuff now. um, how about 10 years ago, if I'm not
Okay.
mistaken? Maybe 12, 10 years ago. And like I said, they started calling us. The first gig, I know it was over the summer, so we did outdoor, but then the other ones were, I mean, you're talking about cold. I mean, when you're there, it's cold. So the doors were, I mean, the gigs were indoor in that
Hmm.
grocery store. That's why we had that furnace and all that. And so they were indoor. Pretty much from there, they were indoor. But those are great times. Definitely great times.
No, that's cool. It's like, I mean, I think if I ever get the chance, it's like, or if you go down there and it's somewhere convenient to my lady's family, I'll make sure try to, travel down from Indy to come, to come see it. And I definitely want to get a t-shirt that it says Rabbit Hash, if
Yes.
anything. So, and maybe get my photo with the mayor and see, and
Yeah,
see
that's
how that works
interesting.
out.
That's interesting. And when we heard there was the mayor's a dog, we were like, okay, interesting. We got to meet the mayor too. He came to the store, and it was like, I was gonna say, nice to meet you. It was like very interesting. It was like, wow, that's the mayor. So
I was like, was it, you had your photo with him? It's like, did it, did he give you, like, did you give him like a treat or something for, I don't know, it's like,
I know we should have, yeah, definitely give him a treat and all that. But he's coming in the store like, like he's all that. And I was like, well, yeah, he's the mayor, so yeah, you got to open space, so the mayor could walk by, and mayor did like our music, that's for sure.
hey, if he sat there and moved and danced around with his constituents, I guess that's a good
Yes,
thing.
yes,
So
wagging his tail. I mean, we were doing a good job. We were wagging your tail.
that's,
Yeah.
wow. Okay. I think that's definitely the best story I think I've heard from any of the
Hmm.
artists so far. So you win that contest. But yeah, but now I gotta get myself to Rabbit Hash just to figure out where that
Yes,
is. And
definitely, definitely.
yeah, and Carmencita said it was like, she's thinking it was like around like 2010. So I'm sure by that time you might have seen your
2010.
share of horror films to where you're going into
Yep.
an area that's, yeah, it's like out in the boondocks. There's no
Hmm.
no lighting, probably not even a traffic light, and then just seeing that. I'm sure it's probably gorgeous country.
Yes,
But again,
yes.
it's gorgeous country. You have no idea what's going on, and when the road
Hmm.
goes from pavement to rocks to maybe just dirt,
Yeah, and we
it
done
turned.
that gig too when it's been snowing, so it's kind of scary.
Oh,
We take our time. We leave. You leave early so you can make sure you don't. You know, something happens on the road. Have enough time. When we leave that gig, it's probably getting dark. Of course, in the summer it's already. I mean, in the winter it's getting
yeah, yeah,
already
dark earlier. It's like,
dark early. So, and we try to be try careful. And don't hit a deer or two. That's another thing too. Be scared. So I was like, yeah. So that was another. But it's Rabbit Hash. I have to say it's beautiful. It's nice. People are beautiful. That's what makes it even better. And they
okay, just
appreciate music. They do appreciate music a lot. They love the music. They love music.
no, that's an awesome story, and also like fun
Hmm.
education and just awareness. Because yeah, it's like stereotypically, is just like if you just hang out with a group of Latinos and say, hey, let's go to Rabbit Hash, Kentucky, it's like during the winter,
Hmm.
and I'm sure probably every scenario of a horror film is going to immediately pop in their head. So,
Yes.
so glad that that was a unique, interesting, but ended up being one of your favorite experiences
Yes.
to have.
Definitely.
So that's so
Definitely.
cool. And so, but even going with those experiences, like, and on to kind of just continue on like your experience for instances like like that, as yourself as a musician, more or less being self-taught, as well as having your peers help you develop.
Mm.
What's some advice you'd like to give to 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 anybody who wants to be a musician? And I'm talking like from at any age. What's something that you would like to to share? Because obviously you says like you didn't really get into congas until like high school age.
Hmm.
What would you like to share from like your experiences, to those who want to get into it, even if it's just as a hobby or for those who want to do it professionally? What would you like to share, um, with those who are listening right now, as well as down the road in the future?
Yeah, definitely. I say pretty much, and this is the way, uh, I grew up in as a musician. As I share, it's better. It's good to always listen. Uh, Go back to listening to those legends. Go always learn from the legends, because they're the ones that open the door for us. Learn from them. Always learn. Grab something from each. Uh, Percussionist, and so like that you could grow as a musician. You just always, always respect and listen to those legends, and practice makes perfect. Always practice, so you could get better for yourself, and always be humble. Always be, that's the key, and that's always the key in this business. Be humble. Just because you're good at what you do and all that, no, but the key is always be humble, and again, listen to respect, to go back and respect, the ones that open the doors to us. Listen to them and learn from them, and practice always your instrument, so you can you become better and get better and better. That's my advice.
And during these times, like, yeah, for a lot of us, obviously not, just in the Tycoon family, because there's nothing scarier than going to an unknown place in Kentucky in the middle of winter, but having a musician alone with their thoughts and never being able to leave the house. So
Mm.
so once the pandemic hit, what helped you? What kind of motivated you just to keep on like practicing? I know, we do this professionally, so we could easily say is like, yeah, we got stuff to work on. But for
Hmm.
you, was there anything that kind of helped you just to avoid getting in a like an emotional slump and letting the case of the world kind of get you down? What have you been doing lately? And also share what if you got any current projects or anything coming up, share that as well.
Yes, I'm in, practicing, because I have my day job too. When I have time too, I just been practicing, practicing my instruments. Um, Actually, I had my first gig of the year, uh, about two weeks ago, and of course
Nice.
it was pretty much safe. We have a mask on. It was outdoor with the mask. So, everybody distance and all that. So that felt really weird, getting back into doing playing, but with the mask on. That was really, even though I practice at home, but when you actually
Mhm.
playing in the band, it's been a long, having been playing so long. It felt weird, but I had, it was fun. It was fun, and I enjoy it. Right now, so far, I don't have no gigs coming up.
Mhm.
What I've been doing is I've been teaching online.
Nice.
I have students that I've been teaching, starting off with the congas, bongos, but they had to have, of course, they had to have the instrument, of course, because we do it online. Uh, I have one student that I was teaching congas, and I'm very, very proud of that person, because they really, for what I've been teaching, they've been studying too. So when it's time to get to the class where we're gonna teach them, I'd be like, okay, let's see how you're doing with your tumbao. They kind of surprise me, because that means they're doing their homework. So it makes me feel that I'm doing something, also I'm doing something right. So that's what I've been doing, just teaching online, percussion. But right now I don't have nothing so far with this pandemic, as when it
Mhm.
comes to gigs. Maybe it might be one or two that are coming up in December, but I'm not sure, because I'm also kind of being a little bit picky too with this pandemic. Well,
Yeah.
because we still, but that's what's going on, pretty much, in my
And
music world.
okay, no recordings or anything, or maybe a project
No,
you're just developing? No?
no, not for now.
Okay,
Not
so
for
it's
now.
like
Hopefully in the
Carmencita,
future.
come on,
Hopefully.
get your man to work. Come on now.
Yes, yes, I know.
Oh, I just yeah, speaking of Carmencita, I was like her and Anna mentioned Mad Frog, the Mad Frog, Salsa on the
Yes, Mad
Square.
Frog. Yes, Sauce on the Square. Those are, yes, yes. Mad Frog. We played there for years. We play there every Monday night
Oh, nice.
for over 15 years. We used to, that was that was pretty much like the Palladium. I'll say in New York, that was like the Palladium in Cincinnati every Monday night. That's where everybody, will get together. They go, dancers, they go and for a little bit because they had to work the next day, but they always
Mhm.
go there, and we all met everyone there, and that's where I met my wife there too,
Oh,
at the Mad Frog, and proposed to her there too when she was singing. I met her there, and I didn't play with that band back then. They didn't have a bongo player, so I used to take my bongos and just sit there and just
nice.
and just play with the band, play just to have, you didn't have to pay me. It was just to have fun. So and then when
Cool.
she joined the group, that's how I met her singing and proposed to her too on stage too later on.
Nice. And
Yeah, and then the South Sono Square is a series that goes on every summer in Fountain Square in Cincinnati. That they have different every Thursday they have different Latin bands. But of course, this year didn't
yeah.
get to happen because of the pandemic. But that's very fun too. We go there every year. That's very fun. So hopefully next year that could be, the pandemic is all everything is all, we're back to normal. Hopefully, we can go to Salsa on the Square next year.
No, that's so cool. It's like that. Besides of just that sound like a fun gig, also sounds like some great memories too, man. So that's
Mm-hmm.
congratulations on
Definitely,
that. I know that
definitely,
was some time
definitely,
ago, but
definitely.
still, that's still awesome
Yeah.
that to hear
Yes.
that. Um, so then, like now, let me also ask you, how did you become part of the Tycoon family? How did that happen? How did that journey come about? And then when you joined Tycoon, is there any particular instrument that or series of special like congas that you really like? What got you to be part of the Tycoon family?
This is funny. I'm glad you brought this
Yeah.
up because I was I knew you were gonna give me this question because I was playing Tycoon timbales back then. I had a pair of Tycoon
Nice.
timbales. I did not know about the company, and the way this happened was I was playing with this was one band in Cincinnati. I was a timbal player. And I was using the timbales I was using was actually the band leaders. That was his timbale because his brother, the family, they're pretty much all known musician. His brother is endorsed with this other company, so I was using this his timbales. So and it got to a point that I was like, you know what, I'm gonna buy myself my own timbales, and give his timbales. I think he was asking for a pair of timbales, but I said I need to have my timbales already. So there was a music store, not Guitar Center. There's another store that they were closing at the time. So I
Hmm.
said, well, they have, when that happens, they're gonna have good sales and all
Yeah.
that. So I went to the store to buy timbales. So when I go in there, I already had in mind. I didn't know about Tycoon even back then.
Hmm.
So it's like
Okay.
15 years ago. I didn't know anything about Tycoon. So when I go to the store, these timbales call my attention. I'm looking at it. You know how you go to the music store, you look at instruments, they call your attention. These timbales
Yeah.
call my attention,
Okay.
and they were black chrome timbales. So
Oh.
when I get there, I said these timbales are like. I keep looking at it. So when I look at the brand, I said, okay, Tycoon. It just I never heard of Tycoon. So I go to the cashier. Say, give me a pair of sticks so I could test, the cascara.
Hmm.
So I get the side of the shell, So I wanted to
Yeah.
play cascara. Man, that cascara sound just got me like this is a different sound. Nothing. I'm not nothing wrong with the other companies, but this I
Hmm.
never heard this cascara sound before in my life. It caught my attention, so I'm hitting the just playing around with it, And the cascara was driving me crazy. I said, man, I gotta buy these. When I look at the price because they're closing, I said, I gotta buy these timbales, Tycoon. And it comes to be is the hammered. You guys don't make it the hammered series of timbales. They had
Hmm.
like the dimples on the cascara. I still have them.
Oh.
Well, I didn't know that until later on when I joined Tycoon, but I was like, wow, these. So I ended up buying them, and I got the case. Actually, I use the case of timbales is pretty much the drum kick case that you use. That's what I use on my timbales as a case. The drum that you use to put your drum kick. So I bought that. I bought
Nice.
a pair of sticks, cymbals, and I got a great deal. So when I started playing the timbales, I remember pretty much my first gig meeting with those timbales, the percussion musician saying, what brand is that? I mean, they sound good. I don't know. It's just this is Tycoon Percussion. I don't know. And then so it was interesting, you know. It was very interesting how so the more I use it, I had percussion asking me questions about the timbales. They said, yeah, where you got those at? They sound really good, and they started playing. And so later on, make the story short, later on, I started, you know, starting to just learn more about Tycoon. Like I said, the only thing I knew about timbales. So later on, I wanted to become just to be a family of a company, you know. So I started writing down all these companies I want to be with, and Tycoon was one of them. So and then in Facebook, I ended up I comment on somebody on a pair of timbales, on one of my friends I have on. And so when I comment, the person say, "Oh yeah, you like the timbales?" He sent me a messenger, and we started talking about his because he's endorsed with another company, and we started talking. Hey, and one of the question was like, "Are you endorsed with any company?" I said, "Actually, no. I'm looking, you know." But you know, the conversation was like, I'm not using him, you know, so he could get me into a company. It was we
Yeah.
started talking. We started talking, and then it was like, no, I just, you know, I'm interested. I'm interested in a couple of companies, but I'm just like, and he mentioned, you know, what company fit with you, and I know the person too. His name is George Balmaceda. You should contact him. It's a good company. I'm with this other company, but this company will is a fit for you. They're a good company. Have you heard of them? I said, I know I got a pair of timbales and they sound great. So he sent me, I didn't ask for it. He sent me here, contact George. He's a good friend. He's a good friend of mine. Contact him, email him. All you gotta do is send your bio and all this stuff. I said, well, I appreciate, you know. I mean, that's nice of you. I said, I'll do that. And that I was on it. I already got my bio done, everything, pictures, like videos of who I perform with, Larry Harlow, local. I sent him an email. The time that I sent him the email, it was in 2015 NAM show. So, you know, he was busy and all that, so he didn't answer my email until later. He said, "Look, I'm busy, but I'll get to look at it." So, make the story short, I became in February 6th or 5th, 6th, that's when I became an artist, part of the family of Tycoon. That's when George, I was eating, I remember eating, I was having dinner, and when I get the email, welcome to the family, man, I was even crying, I was jumping. You can ask my wife. She was like hugging me. I was so happy. Uh, because I already used the instrument. There's the timbales. To me, I love the sound, so I already knew what Tycoon was about, and I seen already in that time. I already seen musician play the bongos and all that, and I was like, man, this instrument is something about it. I just love the sound of it. I would like to. I wish I could be an artist, but I had written all these other companies just in case they deny me or something like that. So I became in 2015. I became February 5th or 6th. February 5th, I became an artist of Tycoon. So it'll be next year. I'll be already 6 years. In those 6 years, I bought the first instrument besides the timbales I had was the cowbell. First instrument I bought
Mm.
from Tycoon, and then would become the bongos, and then the congas later on, the timbales, and other stuff, you know, maracas, weed, and all that. So I'm very happy with Tycoon, and I love uh, the family. I love the instruments, uh, and I'll keep using them definitely.
No, it's yeah, Tycoon's been fun. So like I signed back in 2012 and yeah, obviously through George and one thing I always tell friends when a lot of people because even still people don't really know too much about Tycoon percussion and I just a friend told me like yeah, think of it's like
Mhm.
an international mom and pop organization because it is so very family oriented. It's
Mm-hmm.
very close. I mean, because it's family run, and it shows amongst, how the artists that are brought in that kind of keep up that,
Mm-hmm.
aesthetic and feel and energy of just, loving live music, people and everything else involved. And especially when you just mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
when, like how in the industry, I know some people almost get that misnomer to where they think we're like all the different brands. I mean, yeah, there's competition, but there's also that
Mm-hmm.
respect and family of it on. It's like, yeah, we're supportive of one another, and on all aspects, as to where it's like, hey, it's like, we don't have, you know you don't seem like a fit for us, but yet, but at the same time, it's like your talent is like, check out these guys, reach out to them, connect with them,
Mm-hmm.
and that might be a great fit for you. Not, it's like it's nobody, it's never demeaning and say like, well, it's like maybe it can't work for us, or it's like, or check these guys out. It's like, it's supportive. Like there's never, I mean, yeah, it's again,
Exactly. Yeah.
there's competition, but at the same time, is this to where it's like, yeah, it's like, well, you seem serious, you want to do this, you want to be part of a family, yeah, that, go, check them out, talk to this person, and and let things like go, from there. And so yeah, Tycoon's always been a very awesome support for myself, and also all the artists I've had the chance to talk to, just like some of their great stories of, either A, being signed, the people that they met,
Mm-hmm.
and the opportunities that they've, received, being part of the Tycoon family is
Mm-hmm.
always really good to hear as well. And like I said, I get to work with George, a lot, and
Mm-hmm.
we've been pretty much brothers ever since I've, signed. And I tell some people, it's just like, yeah, George he's like that, he's like your crazy Cuban uncle.
Mm-hmm.
That's who
Mm-hmm.
George
Yep.
is. And or
Yeah, definitely.
your or that crazy Cuban brother of yours, through through the other
Yeah.
side of the family type thing. Just like a
Yeah.
wonderful man that, truly supportive, and especially when you talked about the cowbell, um, George,
Mm-hmm.
just the research and the time they put into making these instruments sound so awesome. And that was like his pride and joy, was the work of, because obviously he worked with Tito Puente, making sure it's just like, hey,
Oh
here's,
yes.
it's
Yes.
just like, and the man knows a good
Mm-hmm.
cowbell. And,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's one of those things of, it's impressive the line of cowbells they have and how all of them sound so good. And we're just
Mm-hmm.
talking about cowbells, not let alone all the variety of series they have and everything else, from the congos, the bongos, and the, the cajones and everything else is
Mm-hmm.
really impressive. So thank you for sharing that story. That was like really awesome. Now
But
to,
I do want to thank George by myself. I definitely want to,
oh yeah,
if he's watching, give him thanks. He's a brother. Uh, I love them. Him and Marlene
oh,
by myself. They're both,
they're
yeah,
awesome.
they're great. They're awesome. And when I went to the NAM show in 2000, uh, 2019, 2019. It was that was incredible. That was my first time. It was an incredible experience because
Yeah.
my wife went with me. It was
Oh,
beautiful because got to meet everyone there, got to meet George, everyone, and it was beautiful experience, and seeing, also seeing different companies, you know, come along. It's not about, my company is better than yours. No,
mm,
we all represent a company and we respect, but we come together, and it's incredible how it's beautiful, and then you get to meet like famous artists, be like, wow, look who's there, look who's, I got to meet Johnny Dandy Rodriguez that played with Tito Rodriguez Barreto, one of my idols. When I saw him, I was like, wow, can I get a picture with you? You've been my inspiration, But we come together, doesn't care, doesn't matter, my company is better than yours. No. We all together, we all do music together, and that's a beautiful thing. And we all, get along, that experience is beautiful. Hopefully, this pandemic is over,
yeah,
I'll definitely go to the next show when, again, it's beautiful. It's
yeah.
beautiful there. I loved it.
A lot of us are looking forward to when that can happen again. I missed this past this 2020, but I've been going to it almost like straight for about like 6 years. And
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a big it's pretty much like a big family reunion. Yeah, and you get to
Mm-hmm.
see a lot of your idols and then, friends. And sometimes there's certain people. I have a friend I grew up with. The only time I see him every year is at the NAMM show. And like we grew up doing drumline
Wow.
together. But, he lives in Seattle. I'm here in Indy. But the only time we see
Mm-hmm.
each other is like we meet in Anaheim. So and we just hang out the whole time during the NAMM show. And so yeah, it's sad to be missing it, but they are doing, for those who don't know, NAMM is the National Association of Music Merchants. It's pretty much the biggest convention in the world when it comes to anything, in not just music, but just the entertainment industry, period. All the technology, any, the
Mm-hmm.
instruments, sheet music, just again, not just for just, music, but performance art and technology, like all the software and like all the fun stuff, they're there.
It's
and
beautiful. Yes.
and you
You
got,
get to see famous people. Like we
oh
saw,
yeah.
from far, we saw, Stevie Wonder didn't get to see us, but not just
Yeah.
kidding. No, we saw Stevie Wonder, but
That's so
the great,
boo.
no, the great Steve, I know that. No, the great Stevie Wonder, we got to
Yeah.
see, he had like bodyguard, but me and wife saw him from far. It was like, wow, it's the legend Stevie Wonder, like, wow, it's like incredible,
Yeah.
and you see them walking. It's like, wow, look who's there. Wow, man,
Yeah, I
it's
know.
nice. But and then you get to you know test the new products.
Hmm.
That's what I was doing too. I was having fun. Wow, the new congas. Wow, these Tycoon. Let me see. Oh man, they sound, they're beautiful. The timbales. Cajon, everything. So that's good. That's what you're there for, to see what's new.
Yeah, it's definitely just like a, for us, it's a fun, it's yeah, kid in a candy store, but you best be bringing your best Skechers because it's
Yes,
too full. It's too full convention centers of just
a lot of walking.
like
Yes.
everything. And it's, yeah, because it goes Thursday through Sunday. And yeah, and you need every one of those days to see, everything, even if you're just hoofing it and not even staying for like 5 seconds, you still need to just book it to be able to see
Yeah.
every little nook
and,
and
and
cranny.
and also we I wanted to also finally meet Roy Vilera and Lilu.
Hmm.
I'm a big fan of them. They're like family. I love them, man. Roy Vilera and Lilu, they're great. So they're watching. Hi. But yeah, I got to meet them and all that, and definitely, as you see, I got the Roy
Oh
Vilera
yeah.
timbales, and I say on the bongos too. So great, 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 great timbales though. Great
Oh,
timbales.
oh heck yeah, they're awesome sounding. So,
Beautiful.
but to wrap up now, is just like where can people find you? Is just like how can they ever so politely stalk you and support you online or through social media? Do you have like websites or like your any page on Facebook, Instagram? What links? How can people follow you in all your musical adventures?
Right now I don't have a website. I should be working on one, but I don't have a website. But they could follow me, Facebook,
Hmm.
Christian, Wavering Christian, Velez, and Instagram, Chris Percussion 78, uh, and also Twitter. I don't use Twitter too much.
Yeah, I want to make sure I follow you on Instagram. I was like, I think I do.
Yes.
Uh, yeah, I cut my Twitter because I'm just like I don't really do any banter. Like
I
it's like
don't use Twitter much, so I mean, they could
yeah,
follow me. Is Chris? It's like pretty much it's Chris Percussion. Just take the S out in Twitter, but I don't use Twitter much. So it's more like Instagram, Facebook, and then my page of Facebook,
yeah,
Christian Velez, percussionist, percussionista. It's the same thing. They could follow me there also, but Instagram, I'm pretty much, share my videos, my work, uh,
nice.
stuff I've done, live, um, and teaching, like teaching whoever,
Nice.
wants
Do you
to
have
learn
YouTube?
something. And then YouTube, yes, they could go Chris M as in Mary Velez. They could follow me there, Chris M Velez. they could follow me there. I put videos also there of live performance and every tutorial, and I have videos there too. They could follow me there too. But
Okay.
website, I have to work on the website. Yes, I do need a website.
And he's like, and we all know it's like
It's a
we all
must.
got
It's a
connections for a
must.
website. So I was
Hmm.
like, I can help you out. I was like, Carmencita, make sure that he follows through because we.
Yes.
She comments, she jokes, she goes, "We got married and then I lost him to Tycoon." So.
In a way, yes. Yes, it's true. It's true. It's all
Oh.
about Tycoon. I am. I'm a big fan of Tycoon. I'm not gonna lie, I am. I love you, babe.
It's like good. It's on record that.
Yeah, yeah. Try not to sleep in the couch. That's why.
Yeah, it's like yeah, if anything, she's like, he's like, no, it's like you have the emotional Rona. You are staying in the couch tonight. So no, so it looks like he
Yes,
definitely shows a lot of love for his lady Carmencita. So everybody, thank you
yes,
so
yes,
much
sir.
for
Yes,
joined myself. I'm Adam Riviere. Again, great thanks, Christian. Thank you so much for making time to do this with me. It's like, I
uh,
appreciate it. Obviously,
thank
Tycoon
you,
greatly
thank you.
appreciates it on sharing your adventures and your stories of how you got to where you are today. It was a lot of fun getting the chance to talk to you. And so, and also hope you enjoy the holiday as well as everybody else who's watching this
Same.
live.
Yes.
You know, enjoy your turkey or your tofurkey or whatever you're into. And so, I mean, stay in touch. There's going to be more Meet the Artists interviews coming up the following week. So until the next time, stay well, be healthy, don't eat too much, and keep the music going, my
Yes.
friend. So
Yes.
bye,
Thank you.
everybody.
Happy